Coming right up, Straight Talk with Art Levine. Our guest tonight, Long Beach Mayor Robert Garcia, as we start our 25th anniversary season.
Straight Talk is brought to you in part by the Port of Long Beach, a leader in international trade and environmental stewardship. And the Press Telegram, your local news leader for over 100 years. And Scan Health Plan, for your health and independence.
Join us for tonight's edition of Straight Talk. And now your host, Art Levine.
Good evening and welcome to Straight Talk. This is the first show of our 25th anniversary season. We're very honored to have as our guest for the entire show the Mayor of Long Beach, Robert Garcia. Mr. Mayor, welcome to our show.
Thanks for having me, and congratulations on 25 seasons.
Thank you very much. And we want to thank our audience and our sponsors and our guests for making 25 years possible. You've finished 2 years in office, Robert. Give us a summary of what you think some of your major accomplishments were.
Well, I think if you look at where Long Beach is right now, there is a sense of optimism that the city is moving forward. There's no question there are still challenges. There are challenges that we've had for a long time. But I look at the data, and the data is pretty clear. Unemployment is low. It's actually lower than it's probably been in 10 to 15 years. Property values are up across the city. We have an increase of household income in most of our neighborhoods, especially in some neighborhoods that have long-standing poverty and have had poverty for a long time. We have new businesses moving in, higher business licenses, which means more businesses, bigger corporations also moving in. And so all those are really good things happening in the economic sector. And of course, the port has continued to be a strong movement for us on the economy side. So we feel good about the economy. We feel good about the city's commitment to clean energy and to clean jobs and to the environment and the investments we're making. We're making historic investments in infrastructure. This year alone, we're putting more money into public infrastructure than we probably have in 30 to 40 years.
And that's with the passage of Prop A and B.
Yeah. With the passage of Measures A and B, it's a historic investment in infrastructure and the largest public investment in infrastructure that the city has probably made in a generation. So those are all some very exciting things. There are still challenges, but we feel good about the future.
And one of the challenges, of course, is public safety. And we've discussed this, I think, every year you've been on the show.
Absolutely.
Long Beach is safer, as you've pointed out, than it was 5 years ago, but still there's been an uptick, particularly in some of the serious crimes and property crimes. And what's your plan to address that?
Well, let me just first say that crime and certain types of crime are actually increasing in every major city in California. So we share this with San Francisco and Los Angeles and Oakland and San Diego and Fresno. And there have been some big changes to the way the criminal justice system
Realignment,
works. Realignment,
Prop 47.
A bunch of new laws that have passed. And
more
so
bad guys out on the street.
There are more folks that are out, and so our police department is working and trying to figure out new strategies and ways to deal with folks that are out. And we realize that when someone comes out of the prison system, they need access also to services, job training, and support.
And let me just interrupt there, because Sheriff McDonald was on our show recently, and he pointed out that unless they're given that support and opportunity, the only thing they know is, in many cases, is the life of crime, and they'll revert to that if they're not presented with an opportunity to make a different choice.
That's exactly right, and that's actually what's happening, unfortunately, with a lot of these cases. And so us and the rest of the cities across the state, in fact, certain types of crime have increased in almost every big city and almost every city in California. When you look at cities over 100,000, we're working with our statewide partners, we're working with the governor's office, we're working with obviously the police department. And again, part of the positive message out of Measure A is this is the first budget since probably 2006 or 7 where we've actually net increased police officers versus cut police officers. So we're actually increasing, we're establishing 4 divisions of policing.
So 8 new officers are being
Patrol
hired.
officers, but it's more than that. I mean, you're talking about a new commander, support staff, 8 patrol officers, and we're redeploying 140 police officers that were in West Division to the new South Division, which will be created to support the downtown
And
area.
that is the high crime area of the South Division.
That South Division is a huge challenge for us, and so we're hopeful that these measures and new tactics are going to be positive for the city.
Well, it's encouraging that the city got a $600,000 grant to further communication between the police department and the community. And as involved as I am with CCEJ, they've been asked to help administer that. Communication is so important between the communities that are particularly affected by this and the police, and opening up a dialogue before something bad happens is a little insurance. So if something bad happens, there are at least those lines of communication open.
Absolutely, and I think what's really important is first that we support our police officers, and I do, and they've worked very hard every single day to do the best they can with the resources that they have. In addition to that is also understanding that yes, policing is changing, and our police chief and our rank and file members talk about this all the time. We have to pay more attention and invest in police training, and our police officers, they want to be the best they can be. And so what does that mean for us in Long Beach? It means we've done a variety of things. We've launched and are launching a body camera pilot program. We're doing more training around mental health and homelessness. We have more non-lethal types of measures that are now being introduced into the police department. And so we're doing a lot more to reinvest back into community policing. And we hope that also strengthens the ties between our police department and the community. I think actually, in fact, our police department is very much supported by this community.
Yes,
There's a sense of support, and I want to make sure that we keep that.
And that's part of the Long Beach DNA, if you will, this communication and interreaction between different groups. And I know Chief Luna is very supportive of community-based policing, as Sheriff McDonald is, and when the sheriff was our chief, he too. So we will be back with more of this fascinating discussion after these messages.
At the Port of Long Beach, we're not only delivering jobs, smart ideas, and forward-thinking environmental initiatives. We're also delivering opportunity for all of Southern California. Oh, and a clearer horizon line. To learn more, go to POLB.com, the Port of Long Beach, thinking outside the docks.
At Performance Plus Tire, you'll find we carry Toyo tires. For over 50 years, Toyo has been a world leader in the development of high-quality tires. Optimum performance, safety, and a comfortable ride. That's what makes Toyo tires great. And now come into Performance Plus Tire for a great deal on these Toyo tires. Proxys ST, Open Country AT, and Proxys 4. Toyo tires, driven to perform. Come in today and we'll install new Toyo tires on your vehicle while you wait. Performance Plus Tire on Cherry Avenue, 1 mile north of the 405 in Long Beach.
We're back continuing our conversation with the Honorable Robert Garcia, Mayor of the City of Long Beach. Let's look to the future, Mr. Mayor. What are the challenges that you see in the next 2 years of your term?
Well, I think that the first challenge we talked about, which is always going to be public safety, just making sure that we continue to get safer. But there's also a couple others that are somewhat related to that issue. The first is homelessness. And we know that homelessness continues to be a challenge across the state of California. The governor has declared, as you probably know, a statewide homelessness emergency declaration. The county has done the same thing. Los Angeles, Long Beach, we're all dealing with this issue of homelessness. And it's something that is difficult for a variety of reasons. One is in Long Beach right now, what you're seeing is an increase in property value and a slight also increase in rent. And that necessarily is generally, I think, a pretty good thing, particularly for property owners. The value is higher, more folks are moving in. We have a lot of young people moving into the downtown.
But some
especially.
people are being pushed out because of the rent.
That's right. And so what we're trying to address is two things. Is one, understanding that we want a diverse mix of folks that live in Long Beach. We want people with disposable income and young professionals to live here, go to work here, and drive the economy. At the same time, there's been neighbors of ours, people that are in our community that have lived here for 20, 30 years that are noticing these effects of this economic change and boom that's happening.
And what's the solution?
Well, I think part of the solution is ensuring that we are building quality workforce housing and affordable housing in the appropriate locations. Here's the reality. You're not going to build additional housing in East Long Beach.
You don't have the right to live on the beach if you're at the bottom level economically.
Well, I think the issue really is where you build housing. The truth is that you're not going to build housing in East Long Beach because it's a suburban community. You can only really build housing in areas that are already dense or built for density, like the downtown, like parts of Central Long Beach, parts of North Long Beach. And in these communities, we have to do a good job of building workforce housing. Do you know that if a teacher comes out of Cal State Long Beach with a teaching degree and marries another teacher, they can't even afford to buy a home? So we're not just talking about folks that are low-income families.
Right.
We're talking about teachers can't even afford to buy a house in Long Beach.
Well, as a former teacher myself, Godspeed with that effort. And get the salaries up a bit too while we're at it.
I always support our teachers.
But so it's the challenge of gentrification is what you've been addressing. But you know, we've suffered budget shortages these last many years, and we're coming out of it, as you pointed out. But the ultimate solution, stepping back on a macro basis for our city's need for more public safety and more this and more that, is, as you suggested, economic growth and grow the tax base, and then it's a win-win for everybody. And we're seeing that, and particularly, let's mention the new Civic Center. Speak to that for a moment.
Right. I mean, I think one of the things that's driving this homelessness and housing discussion also is all the development that's happening in downtown. So we're building all these new condos and high-rises, the Civic Center and hotels, and that is creating a stronger economic core in the downtown. At the same time, it's making us rethink and invest, ensuring that our seniors have places to go, and that we're really creating a community. So the Civic Center is exciting. The best part about it, quite frankly, is we're building an all beautiful new library for the community, which will be this great new central library in the downtown. Of course, we have the new port headquarters in City Hall and private development, along with the new park. So all of that is under construction as we speak.
I was there at the groundbreaking. Very exciting.
Very exciting.
And you believe, and I share that belief, that, and many others do too, that will trigger development off site, off that property, because of the big investment in making that downtown area look better. And
we're already doing it. I think if you drive down through downtown today, there is no question it is a stronger, better place, safer place, cleaner place than it was 10 years ago. And if this can continue, as we all hope it will, we then secure a stronger economic base for our city. The truth, absolutely. People don't realize that every time we add a quality unit or property in downtown, that is long-term property tax base for the entire city, so that we can hire enough cops, trim trees, fix our parks, invest in our water systems. All of that is done through a strong property ownership in the city. And if we can increase that, that increases the city's value. And let's mention Douglas Park for a second, because there's a great example of reuse of land, bringing high-paid jobs, and Mercedes has relocated across from Douglas Park. And speak to that for a moment. Well, Douglas Park is a home run for Long Beach. We have attracted high-end and quality companies like Mercedes-Benz, like Virgin Galactic, a lot more that are coming. We are also building a really quality retail center and hotels on the site as well. So it's really a fantastic development. Sirius Regis, who is the group that's been developing the site, are great partners, and now they're developing some projects in downtown Long Beach. So there's a lot of exciting things happening through Douglas Park. It's really a great project.
And we have an airport that's the lowest cost airport apparently in America as far as low fares. And equally importantly, people love that airport. What a brilliant design that was, that people who are deplaning actually pause to have a drink or eat. No one in my entire life I've ever heard, oh, let's stop at the airport before we get our luggage and get out. Everyone wants to get out, but there was such a fine design that it is very attractive to visitors, and it's a great front door for our city.
People love the Long Beach Airport. It's a great place to fly in and out of. It's easy. It's a great. That's where I almost try to take almost all my flights if possible. And we're going to continue to do some great work. We have Southwest, which is now at the airport. JetBlue has expanded some of their flights there as well, and so we have a very strong airport system right now, and we're very proud of it.
And very quickly before we go to break, your thoughts on the proposed international terminal there?
Well, my position today is the same it's been since we started discussing a year ago, which is we're in the middle of a study. Over the course of the next few weeks, that study will be released to the public. I haven't seen the results of the study yet. The city has not received the results yet, and once we do, we'll have a better idea of what the impacts would be of having an international terminal, if there's any damage or possible damage to the noise ordinance, and what the economic impact would be. Those are really important questions. I think the most important thing in this discussion is protection of the noise ordinance. And no one wants to do anything that could cause any damage or potential damage to it.
Fair enough. We'll be back with more of our show after these messages.
How do you like your chances the rest of the way?
I got no idea. But I do know that if we stay with Naples Rib Company, at least we won't go hungry.
Coach, what do you think about some of those questionable calls tonight?
Oh, yeah. But if you want a sound call, I'd call Naples Rib Company. You can't miss on that call.
Then Naples Rib Company is part of your game plan?
There really is nothing more motivating than a great barbecue meal at Naples Rib Company.
Victory or not, Naples Rib Company, great game plan.
Founded in 1976, Polly's Gourmet Coffee is Southern California's most complete gourmet coffee store. Polly's has the best tasting coffee, freshly roasted every day right in the store, plus a wide selection of teas, an in-house bakery, espresso bar, patio dining, and more. We also offer Wi-Fi, free internet access for all of our customers. Our nationwide clientele agree, when it comes to coffee, there's only one name to remember, Polly's, 4606 East 2nd Street, welcoming you into Belmont Shore.
You make me wear my bike helmet. Taught me never to run with scissors. And to follow the swimming rules.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
Phone! Does anybody work here? Jeez. Satellite TV, what's the problem?
I have a question about my bill.
And since you merged with the phone company, I don't know who I'm supposed to call.
Well, you should probably call the phone company.
I did. They told me to call you.
Please call them back and tell them that we told you to call them.
They told me you told me that.
And told me to call you.
Let me transfer you directly to the phone company then.
It's time to move on from satellite. For customer service without the runaround, get Spectrum.
They transferred him back, sir.
We're back continuing our conversation with Long Beach Mayor Robert Garcia. In this up close and personal segment, we want to get behind the psyche of the mayor and try and find out what's going on. But just for the record, he was elected. He was AS president here on Long Beach State campus. He was a city councilman in Long Beach and then vice mayor, and now 2 years after being elected mayor. So congratulations on all that service. He's an accomplished educator and has taught public policy administration at SC, our neighbor, as well as at Cal State Long Beach. And I know that you have a good relationship with one of our superstars, Craig Smith,
Absolutely.
on our campus, a former presidential speechwriter, who, by the way, has an article in the new issue of the Straight Talk magazine, which I encourage you to read. Craig is the author of Confessions of a Professional Speechwriter, a presidential speechwriter, but he has a guest column where he goes back in all the debates and what to look for in the upcoming debates between Trump and Hillary. And he was there as a speechwriter for President Ford and a consultant. And I know he helped you in some of your political communications.
Absolutely. Dr. Smith is one of the best. He's a good friend. We remain very good friends, and he was a professor of mine when I was here as an undergraduate, and has been a mentor of mine ever since. So it's been a long time.
And you've learned the lessons well, and here you are as mayor.
Absolutely.
God. So let me ask, what surprises these first 2 years? What surprised you about what you thought it would be like versus what it was actually like to be mayor?
I think the biggest thing about being mayor is that you really gain a sense of constant evaluation of the city and the safety of the city. So I every day I think about how safe is the city, possible issues with terrorism and homeland security, and so that is something that you're constantly thinking about, and you have to. I think it's your role as mayor to always be thinking, make sure the city's safe.
And I know the port of Long Beach, together with LA, which are contiguous even though they compete, are national security targets. And I know there's a very heavy protection, but that certainly would be on the short list of if terrorists are going, what are we going to do? That would be a target.
Absolutely. I mean, our police department, the FBI, Homeland Security, the Port of Long Beach, we have a huge effort and operation at the Port of Long Beach, as well as across the city, the airport. We invest a lot of an emergency operations center. So domestic security and security of the city is incredibly important. It's something we take very, very seriously. And it's something that, it's important, but until you're actually in the seat, and at the end of the day, the buck stops with me.
Yeah.
So I understand that, and it's something we take very seriously.
Well, that's good to know, and we hope and pray that those precautions deter any effort to disrupt our city. Is life different? Obviously, life is obviously different from the day before you were mayor till the day you became mayor. Tell us the difference on a personal basis when you go to shopping in a supermarket, assuming you do.
Of course.
And people come up, what's it like? Put us in the shoes of what it's like being the mayor and going through a day or a week.
I mean, I think part of being mayor is, you do lose some of your privacy and some of your personal time, and that just was to be expected. And absolutely, almost any time I'm out at dinner or out shopping, someone will come up to you and have a request or have something that they want to address, and that's okay. I mean, I never take offense to that. I think that it's my job to be mayor and to represent people's views and to help them, and so I always take that very seriously. And I'm thankful that people feel comfortable coming up to me and talking to me whenever they do.
So if you're sitting in a restaurant with someone and someone comes over, that you don't view that as an intrusion?
I don't. I just think they obviously need help with something. I'm there to represent them, and it's my job to try to help them. So I don't.
The local level is where the rubber meets the road. I mean, if there are real problems, they know who to go to, the mayor, their council person, or the mayor. As you go further away, Sacramento, Washington, there seems to me to be less accountability. It's just one man's opinion. There seems to be less and less accountability and more indulgence in oration and talk and whatever, and not solving problems. But as a governor or as a mayor, you have to solve a problem. And if you don't, you hear about it.
The job of being mayor is you are a problem solver. And every day we are solving and working on complex problems that face the city. And it's moving an agenda forward, but it's also solving problems that come up. Any government organization is a complex bureaucratic system that needs innovation, it needs constant care, it needs new ideas. And so we're always trying to solve new problems every day, and we're just trying to move the ball down the field and make the city better.
And I know you are a tireless advocate, an ambassador for the city. You never miss an opportunity to promote the city. And I've said this before publicly, but your enthusiasm, I think, is infectious on the people who you are leading.
Well, thank you. I love Long Beach. I think this is a great American city. We have so many positive things that are happening and that have happened, and great people that live here. I think it's also a very compassionate community. I think it's a community that cares about everybody, including the poorest of us in this community, and we have a responsibility to help everybody. And I think that's something that I love about this community, that people care about each other, and we're striving to kind of lift all boats.
Well said. We'll be back with the rest of our show after these messages.
Phil Trainees mixes California style with continental cuisine that includes fresh seafood from around the world. Since Phil is the chef, the menu has a wide variety of pastas, salads, soups, and appetizers that feature his unique personal touch. And the Italian-American signature dishes are simply beyond delicious. You never know who you're going to run into at Trainees, from the famous sports legends on the Wall of Fame to local celebrities having a drink at the bar. For the best fine dining experience, visit Phil Trainees.
There's a world of opportunity available through the College of Continuing and Professional Education at Cal State Long Beach. Would you like to move ahead in the field of human resources and personnel management? Sign up for the Human Resources Management Certificate Program. You'll learn how to expand your knowledge and skills and advance in this dynamic industry. For more information, contact the College of Continuing and Professional Education at Cal State Long Beach.
You've been planning this moment for a long time. It couldn't be a more perfect moment. And you have the perfect ring that will tell her, I want to love you forever. But nothing is perfect.
Don't listen to that guy. He got the ring at McCarty's.
McCarty's makes a moment.
Well, Mr. Mayor, it's been an honor to have you on our show, our first show of our 25th year, and we have a minute left. Anything you want to say?
Well, first I want to congratulate you on 25 years again. I think it's really admirable to have this type of format for folks to come on and talk about the city and the region and the state, and you have all sorts of guests. And so just want to congratulate you and really everyone involved in the production of this show. I think you have a great team. You've had a great team for many years. And thank you for promoting the city and just doing a great job with making sure people know what's going on in our community.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And thank you guys at home for watching. And please stay with us this whole year. We have some very special events coming up. Thanks for joining us, and please be with us next week for the next edition of Straight Talk. Good night, everyone.
Straight Talk has been brought to you by the Port of Long Beach, the Press Telegram, and Scan Health Plan. And remember, Straight Talk is viewable 24/7 at straighttalktv.com.